This is what happens when you become a BrainFit PT, when you're BrainFit.
It's not as complicated. Right, we really want it to be really, really simple.
Brain performance specifically, isn't it? Whereas brain fitness, we can measure factors that affect that even using those third-party devices like Apple Watches and Fitbits.
A technology called functional near infrared spectroscopy, which is a collection of words that sends a lot of people to sleep.
So we get asked a lot, what exactly is it we're doing in general and what we're measuring in particular. We talked earlier on in a previous episode about brain fitness and exactly what it is, but from a scientific point of view, what is it we are looking at? We haven't really talked about our device. We're not here to sell our device really, but I suppose it's important people understand. So this has been around a wee while. One of our first prototypes, integrated into a hard hat. We mentioned in the previous episode, FC Labs initially was all about fatigue in high-risk environments, hence the hard hat. Our hardware integrated into it, so little unit on the side with the board and the battery, the main electronics, and then our sensors on the forehead here, because we are actually looking at the brain. And I think the question we get asked most often is, can you read my mind? The answer is no, as a spoiler. But Andy, Emily, I'll let you guys delve a little bit into exactly what we're doing with both the hardware in terms of what we're looking at, what we're sensing, what data we're collecting, and then how we're processing it, and then what it means. Because our data, insights, the AI platform is important, but equally important is we call it the BrainFit philosophy, don't we? Kind of what we then do with that data, the insights, but also the support that we provide, the 3 Ps, beams, all of that. Let's talk about that for 20 minutes. Go.
Great. Okay, right. So yeah, what Matt was holding up there, a hard hat, which is one of the things that we can put our sensors into. What Matt is currently beautifully modeling as well, for those who can see the video, is a cap where we can put that into as well. So there's lots of places we could use our technology in for golfers, etc., things like that, when you're driving, all these different things. And so to think about what we're actually measuring and what we're using is a technology called functional near infrared spectroscopy, which is a collection of words that sends a lot of people to sleep. However, and we can sense that. So it is, to take those words aside, all it is doing is shining light into an area of your brain. It can be anywhere, but our sensors are looking at the front of your brain, your prefrontal cortex. The lights that it's shining, very similar to wrist wearables, things that millions of people are using. And we just have it up in the forehead rather than on your wrist. And it's a slightly different wavelength, but just as comfortable as what's the word again? As safe. That's the one. Totally went out of my head. Just as safe as your wrist wearables. And we are looking at, so the brain it's not a muscle. It's slightly different, but it, just like a lot of muscles in our bodies, it needs oxygen to operate and also other things as well. And our blood is the way that we transport these chemicals and oxygen to the area of the brain that we're using. And the way that we used our technology is that it shines a light and we can actually see how much oxygen is being used up in that area of the brain. We look at the prefrontal cortex, which is the area which you use when you are paying attention, making decisions. And so that is really relevant when you're doing something that is potentially risky, for instance, but also just as well when you are doing something like maybe doing a podcast. And we can notice that after our lunch break, when we have a bunch of food in our stomachs and blood is going from different areas rather than our prefrontal cortex, we can pick those kind of things up.
Especially if you've had a giant French toast with Biscoff and ice cream.
Yes.
I imagine.
And that is Alex over there falling asleep in the back.
As another slight aside, actually, Shine a Light has given me an idea for the soundtrack for our first ad, or possibly this podcast. I can't remember who it's by. Might be McFly.
Like Love, Shine a Light.
Something. No,
Yeah.
we're back into not that one.
Oh, that's another one.
We're back into whether
BrainFit, Shine a
Emily's
Light.
singing is good for your brain fitness or not. Anyway, we digress. We weren't even drinking at lunchtime. It's
So that's our technology, which is, I suppose, the heart of FC Labs, but it's not all the time that you're going to be wearing headsets, and I'm sure more and more as people get used to looking at the brain and understanding their brain, actually will really want to wear headsets a lot more. But for now, we're not the kind of society that does that all the time, but FC Labs really wants to help everyone's brain fitness, as we've discussed in other podcasts. And so that's why then we have looked at other aspects to broaden the product out, I suppose, to reach as many people as we possibly can.
So worth talking about the difference between brain fitness and brain performance actually there, because again, this is something we've developed over time. Like we were saying, hard hat, high risk environments is still a big part of what we hope to help with, the problem we hope to address. But we've grown beyond that, as we were saying in a previous episode. And brain fitness and performance, again, is something relatively recent that, with your help, particularly Emily, we've sort of defined what we mean by brain fitness and performance. And brain fitness is just like physical fitness. It's that long-term trend. It doesn't fluctuate wildly throughout the day, does it? But brain performance does. Again, like we were saying before, brain fitness affects your brain performance. If you're brain fit, you can perform even when you're putting yourself under stress. And it's our device that measures brain performance specifically, isn't it? Whereas brain fitness, we can measure factors that affect that, even using those third-party devices like Apple Watches and Fitbits. And it definitely seems to have, sort of, it makes sense. It all seems to have slotted into place. It's been quite a strange journey. It's not really the topic of this podcast, is it? Maybe should be at some point. But it seems to make sense to both to us and to people we talk to. People have mentioned this idea that we say things in a different way. We sort of describe both the problem and the solution. This idea of brain fitness, brain performance, just makes sense to people. And I think it's a separate topic, but that is a big part of our why, I think, and how.
And it's so important to put context on it, isn't it? Because it's great. You could wear our cap and you could understand that at hole 3 on the golf course, your brain performance is suddenly totally cratered. And that's great and all. It's interesting to have that bit of information, but you need all the context around it to then enable you to do some kind of behavioral change to then improve on your next round of golf, which I suppose is where the other parts of the product come into it.
Yeah.
And
so,
your PT training.
Exactly. So the data, the insights that we provide, you've got that daily brain fitness score, and then you've got that real-time brain performance data that we can provide. But all of that then powers the support that we provide, both that AI powered coach, but also the human coach. And I think that's that, both of those and all of the features that we're building into the app as well, all comes from this BrainFit philosophy, which really, I think, hinges on the 3 Ps. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
3 Ps. Well, essentially 3 Ps: positive thinking, positive action, positive interaction. So that's really what we're about, really, because every time we're all about generating something we call serotonin, which is what sort of makes us feel this sense of like okay with what is, like this is enough, like I'm okay with what is. So it keeps things calm. And sort of feeling like in control. So if this is generated by, we can create the serotonin by the consistency of these thought patterns. So that when the brain is producing these thought patterns, these patterns in the brain, they produce a steady flow of serotonin. 3 Ps, I get my words out. So it's after lunch, is it? So positive thinking, every time we spend time thinking in a positive way, we release some we feel good, we release serotonin. Every time we take positive action, we release some serotonin. Every time you interact in a positive way. So like repeat. So every time you spend time with people who make you feel good. So it's not, our philosophy is it's not, it's complicated, right? We really want it to be really, really simple. Like, and you don't need PT to do this. This is everybody can do, right? That's what we're trying to sort of say. Every time you spend time interacting with people that make you feel good, you're going to release serotonin. You want to be around taking positive actions. And actually, interesting is how you frame the action you're doing. So, like, yes, more of those actions that do make you feel good. Do more. So, if you're a baker, do baking or whatever, doing these actions. But actually, just framing something as a positive action. I took the bins out. Yeah, it was a positive action because I could have not took the bins out. I've took the bins out. So I had a shower today. That feels good because I could have not had one. It says every action we're seeing something as a positive action going to release a little bit of serotonin. So that's where we're coming from, these 3 Ps. It's about consistency. It's not about having to do it all the time and constantly having to forcing ourselves to think positive. It's just when you can, try to concentrate on the positives. It's sort of, that's where we're not ignoring the negatives, but concentrate on the positives. That's what's going to make us feel good and keep this brain sort of relaxed and calm, because when we're calm, we can cope better, like we can perform better. When we're calm and when the brain's able to sort of solve the problem and we use the resources we've got in the brain, right? And that's what we're coming from. So that forms a massive part of what we do. Like we're concentrating on your strengths, on your positives, and trying to grow those.
And just being aware of those. I found it myself. I think we've all talked, even just today, actually talked about positives that we've just been aware of, even little things. And this idea of the feature we're building into the new app that is very much your baby, Andy, the beams. And I know it's not a live feature in the app yet, but I've started to think it, which I think is the whole point. The app's really just there to try and support and encourage it.
Support and give it some structure, because I was thinking that what I like about your PT sessions is that, well, it's a PT. You're training the brain. You're helping somebody to actually push them a little bit more. And when you talk about positivity, it all makes sense. It sounds really good, and you could nod along and think, I'm definitely going to do that. But then if there's no structure behind it, then it's so easily you just get into your old habit.
Absolutely. And when people start PT, what happens is I ask them to start, what's been good? Let's concentrate on things that have happened this week they've been pleased with, and you start, and then the brain will just go back without sort of just graduate to negatives or for a second I'll say positives, but then there was that. So then it really does require the trainer to go, what was good about that? Oh no, there was nothing, was there? Like, okay, concentrate on what was being good. Like, so because the brain just gets so used to thinking negative, like it just falls back into those patterns. So you really sometimes do need a bit of help to nudge it along, or the app's really good at just giving these prompts, sort of thread that we can.
It's the philosophy behind BrainFit, but also behind the app as well. It's what drives us, and something that it really gets my goat with these other apps, and actually the very popular apps, is that they force you to, they themselves, because they're made by humans and we like to focus on the negatives, they force you to focus on the negatives. You get alerts saying you had a really bad sleep last night, like really need to work on that, which is a horrible way to wake up when you're like, well, I know I'm kind of knackered. I've got stuff to do, and if I had the opportunity to have a great sleep, then I would have done that. So it's kind of really unhelpful. Whereas we're the complete opposite. We want to focus on the positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so important to do that.
And it doesn't take that much effort, really. Even if at the very least, you just at the end of every day, just for 1 minute, sat and wrote down, I thought, like, what's been good today, and just go through that little sort of rerun the movie of the day and stop at the points that have been good. So then that gets filed away, like, right, great, that's good. And anything else can just go in the trash. It's literally, like, it's not relevant, it's not useful, like just what's being. So it's starting to train the brain of only like allowing those positive or useful thoughts.
Should we do it? Should we do a little, what would we beam just now?
Yeah. So what's been good today?
Yeah,
man. Okay, right. Let us think. Right. So for me, okay. So how I do a PT session is try to get people to just think of, first off, as many as they can. And then usually when you're there, then you've still got more to go, but just a few off the top of your head to start off with. So let's do a round of just ones off the top of my head, shall we? So okay. So for me, this morning, I got the kids to school on time. Because that took a lot of effort. In fact, I got them out. In fact, I was pleased that they actually were really looking forward to going to school. Usually, it's quite a lot of effort, but they were pleased today to go to school. So I was like, yes, that's good. That's a good one. And then I got on time. Everything with the journey was lovely and smooth here. So I was pleased with that. I'm pleased I got here. I just had loads of fun. Pleased. What else has been good? We had a lovely meal just now. I was really pleased with that. And also, just as I'm sort of sat, because I say to people, it's not just things that have happened, but what is good as well. Like if there's anything that you just is good. I'm pleased. I'm just feeling good, feeling energised. So I don't want to rub it in for people who are very tired. I've been up since 4:45. But that's another thing. I had a good night's sleep. I had a great night's sleep. So just feel really good and looking forward to the week. And got my son's birthday coming up, so I'm really looking forward to that. So and I could go on, so I can fill in my brain.
We made a massive mistake there to get Emily, the BrainFit PT trainer, to go first, because I meant one thing.
Oh, sorry. Don't forget, I spend all my day every day thinking about what's been good about. So
this is what happens when you become a BrainFit PT, when you're BrainFit.
And you, Andy, what's been good?
My one thing. I think listening to a lot of what you said, I thought it was really interesting, because I've had a journey today, and actually it did go smoothly, but I didn't take time to sit there and think, and it didn't even pop into my head of I should actually be pretty positive about that. That was it all went very smoothly.
Yeah.
I was 7 minutes. I had 7 minutes to go between getting to the train station and getting the train, and it could have all gone horribly wrong.
That's right.
Just 7 minutes.
But that is the way to look on it. Where we are, it could all have been so much worse. That's it's a really positive. That's a positive thought. It makes it release serotonin. Another thought is, it could have been so much better. It needs to be. It's a stressful thought. It's not very satisfying. So that releases different chemicals. So just the way we think about things changes what's going on in the brain, right? And that choice is down to us, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. And the other thing which was interesting was, I made a note of it earlier on. Actually, was that I am tired. I haven't slept that well, but because we're in this environment, it's been great with friends, and we've had a great few hours, and it's been loads of energy. And actually, I'm feeling really positive. And it's been a great day,
brilliant.
Which is so interesting compared to. Now, should we get on to?
It's like a swear jar.
Let's allow that, man. If it comes back up again.
It's like, oh dear, it just comes out, doesn't it? But I deserved it. I feel,
I'm
pleased. Pleased. I feel pleased for you. I feel like
it makes us feel good when you say man as well.
Yeah.
So
it's contagious, isn't it? You feel like when you feel good, then you feel good that other people feel good, and it's just like negativity spreads, but so does positivity, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Matt, how are you?
I tell you what, I see beams everywhere, Andy. It's quite. And
they're not UFOs.
No, honestly, I think this brain fitness thing is. I'm really feeling the benefit of it, and just quite conscious of it as well. It's strange in a way, actually. But last 2-3 days. Well, I'll focus on today. I could probably be like Emily and list a whole load. Even actually finding a parking space on Saturday when I was in Edinburgh, we were going to a show and stuff. Drove straight onto George Street, parked up straight away. Like literally a car was moving out just as I came to the space and just drove in. Cost me 25 quid for 3 hours. But apart from that, it made me feel good just finding a space.
That's what I say as a PT. That last bit.
Forget that bit.
It's irrelevant.
It is. No, exactly. I don't think it. Yeah, because I expensed it, so it's fine. And then, today, like a lot of the team, early start, a bit of train disruption has caused some challenges, but it all worked out. I was definitely slightly brain fucked this morning, so I was tired. I was walking up the hill to Durham train station. I was hot and sweaty. Had my cap, not this cap, but had a cap on. Got to the train station, took it off, took my jacket off, put my cap onto a post, And then I'm looking at the trains, trying to figure out which one I should get to avoid this disruption. Realised there was a train coming, thought, oh, this is fantastic. Ran to it, forgot my cap. Realised when I was on the train, and it did. I slumped. It wasn't a good feeling. But then I got a message from my daughter that she'd found it. She'd gone up to the station and found it. And literally, so that would have been a huge beam if I was...
That's like a hero beam for the day.
That's a massive beam. And it was quite... It's just funny how you become conscious of what makes you feel good, but also what can pull you the other way a little bit sometimes. And it, like losing my cap, I thought it's only a cap at the end of the day.
And what you said there about being conscious about what can pull you, when you're sort of feeling really good, it's really easy. It's easier to spot, like, because if you're so used to feeling good, it's easier to spot when you don't feel good. You know, like then, you know, whereas if it's the norm to feel, then it's just another thing to add to that. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so like you spot the difference very quickly, then you take action to do something about it, right? Because at the end of the day, like the fitter we are, the more able to do something about it. You know, we don't allow these things to bother us. You know, it's like, right, this has happened, but I'm not going to allow it to like affect my day. Like, it's just you know, but that's to do with fitness and your brain able to perform to do that. You know, sometimes we let it. We just can't sort of. It's harder to do, and that's to do with brain fitness.
Yeah. What I'm really excited about with the new version of the app and just launching the next. The next phase of the product of BrainFit is really bringing all of this into what we're doing. So at the moment, we're obviously pre-launch. We've been testing certain things. The app's in a fairly sort of simple format at the moment, giving people data. We're giving them the support, but then really automating it, building that AI coach, putting the beams, the 3 Ps at the heart of that app experience. I'm really excited to see how that works, just because the way that we're talking about it today, I think it's probably quite difficult for people listening to get their heads around exactly what it's going to look like. So I'm really excited to get that out there, I must admit.
It does show in your data, like through your wearable, it's tracking the heart rate. Obviously, we have one of the scores that lead into your brain fitness, you know, the calm score. So when I'm working with people who are tracking their brain fitness, you can see when the calm score peaks on days it peaks, and I'll say, like, what's going on there on that day? You know, and I was really enjoying myself that day. I was at the football or whatever afterwards, or we was on a trip and I was having a great time. I was really right, okay. That shows in your data. Like when we're doing something that we enjoy and we want to be doing, like our calm score increases. We feel good, we're releasing serotonin. So it's not just me telling you, like it picks up on your wearable. The reverse happens on the days. We don't tend to focus too much on the drops, but just out of curiosity to find out if there's a peak that's gone down, but what was going on that day. Someone recently, I said, well, I was on a works trip and I didn't want to be there. So the whole day is a drag, dragging yourself through the day. You don't want to be doing it. You don't get any joy in it. There's no satisfaction. Just don't want to be there. That shows on your data. Like that's a real thing. Like the peaks. And so essentially, we're focusing on like do more things that make you feel good. But also, if you're in a day, you don't want to be there. There's always something you can focus on that like you're looking forward to, you know, even if it's the end of the day, I'm looking forward to my program, you know, like I can't wait, like that excitement for that will help you get through the day, you know. So it's like focusing on like the things that you are interested in and the things that you want and like the things like that just do make you feel good. There's always something in a day, and that will help you cope with if the day is a slog. Like I think I mentioned before, like when I've got the kids, 3 young boys, like my data goes down, our calm score goes down because it's like as lovely as they are, it's a slog. It's a slog to get everybody motivated to get up and off the screens and to do something. Like it is like I can feel the mental drag to get through the day. In comparison today, everybody's like, well, you're so lively. I'm like, yeah, I don't have any kids. It's so like, you know, because the day is easy. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. So But I can't change the fact, and I wouldn't want it. I've got kids, so it's like, well, actually, it's fun when you find something about the day that's like that you enjoy and you want to do. Like I think I was telling you, like we did something that I wanted to do because no one wanted to do anything, so I thought we might as well do something that I want to do and play. So then I'm feeling good. So then you can cope with the day. So it's a real thing. It shows up on the data. So that when we're tracking it on the app, like your calm score, so you'll get the peaks on the days where you want to be there and you're excited. So obviously, the more days we have like that over a week, like the more your fitness is going to improve. Obviously every it varies, but there are little tweaks you can do to raise that score and to get more of those peak days.
Yeah, and it's that the data's so important. Is it being able, if you can measure it, you can manage it ultimately, and all of this is, and I think this is why it's so powerful. It's common sense. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're packaging it in a certain way, but also providing data to support it. Just very briefly, Andy, if you can, with that data and exactly how we are processing the data that we collect, both from our wearable and other wearables. We're delivering that brain fitness score, we call the core score, obviously, and then the brain performance. Just really quickly, what are we looking at there, really?
Yeah, I was thinking that we've been talking about data. What is the data? And so yes, quickly, the core score, which we're getting from wrist wearables, that is around looking at activity levels, looking at your levels of CAM. We don't like to focus on the negatives, the stress, so it's a CAM score. Higher is better. And the activity levels, and then sleep as well. And our algorithms, as Matt just said, they're relatively straightforward. We're just looking at heart rate. We're doing similar to what many other wearables do as well. We're taking the data off third-party wearables. However, actually, and I love data myself, I work with it all day long, but it's really important to then use that data to provide some context, but actually it's all the support that's around it, which is provided in the app, which is provided in the PT sessions, that actually brings it to life. And yet a lot of the wearables that you get these days, you get the data and it's like, well, what do I do with that? So yes, our algorithms are there, but they're more to support the BrainFit philosophy and improve your brain fitness. That's our real aim, rather than the aim of just providing the data. So that's the wrist wearable data, focused on primarily on heart rate, and then looking at different things like government guidelines of activity levels, your expected guidelines of sleep, but then also recognizing that everyone's got quite big individual differences actually, and that can't always be reflected in the data and the score. So again, it's really important for PTs to put, and the coach on the app, to put those kind of things in perspective. The headset, so yeah, talked about what we're looking at. It provides us then information on how much you're using your prefrontal cortex, and it's a journey that we're on, to be honest with you. The FNIRS, the technology we're using, has been used in the lab for over 30 years now, so it's really recognized, really respected as a technology in studies, but we're miniaturizing it and getting it out to the world for the first time. So if you get a hand on our neurotech, then enjoy it, and I'd be pleased that you're one of the first people in the world to get to grips with this new neurotech, and also to get the data. But it's a journey that we go through, because our brains are amazing organs and they have so many millions of different patterns that they create every single day of our lives. So yes, there's some interesting overriding patterns that we can generalize to everyone in the population, but over time there'll be more and more, when we get more people wearing our neurotech, more and more patterns that we can get to really understand the data that's coming in. It's a journey that we're on.
It is, and it's so difficult to wrap it up there, actually, because there's so much to talk about, and that just talking about where that journey might take us, what we can do now, what we might do in the future. But I think if you're interested, I'm conscious this one's perhaps been a bit more about us as a product. Didn't want it to be salesy. Hopefully it wasn't. But if anybody's interested in what we're doing, wants to find out more about the science, the psychology, the neuroscience, just get in touch. We're always happy to chat about it, aren't we? As you can probably tell. Yeah, let's wrap this one up there. And see you next time.